Hello everyone, I'm Joel Walters. I lead PwC's U.S. inbound tax practice.
And I'm Bernard Moons, and I lead the U.S. inbound international tax practice.
I guess today what I really wanted to do with you, Bernard, is talk a little bit about some of the unique aspects of being a U.S. inbound company. I spent a number of years working with inbound companies as well as working with PwC. So I appreciate some of the challenges and opportunities, which often can be quite different than those faced by a domestic U.S. company or an outbound company. I guess just thinking about that, in your experience, what are some of the opportunities and challenges that you've seen that are unique to inbound companies?
Well, thanks for the question. I think really when you look at the past 5 years, we have seen more challenges than opportunities. I think it's fair to say the global financial crisis really has created a lot of pressure on governments to look for revenue, and that has put pressure on companies worldwide, not necessarily just inbound companies, but global companies. Where that really comes in for inbound companies is that global tax directors need to continue to manage their stakeholders while at the same time dealing with these challenges that the global financial crisis has created. There are a few of them that I know you will be covering in other podcasts such as BEPS and other ones, but those are really the challenges of trying to stay ahead with it while managing their stakeholders. In terms of opportunities, clearly, if you can count as an opportunity, business models continue to evolve. We see some of the mega trends that continue to have tremendous impacts on on how business is conducted. How businesses are being done in completely new ways. There are things that we take for granted today that weren't there 5 years ago. That pace and acceleration and change will continue to evolve, which will create challenges, but at the same time also opportunities.
Bernard, you were talking about some of the unique challenges related to an inbound company, related to stakeholder management and working with senior management in another country. Talk a little bit about how that requires perhaps some different skills and expertise, perhaps, for a senior tax executive in an inbound company.
And that's right. That's right. When you look at the dynamics for a U.S. head of tax of an inbound, it creates very different challenges. I think there are challenges at two levels. One is, as a head of tax of the U.S. subsidiary, you have to be very closely connected with the headquarter group tax function because they usually set the overall strategy of the group, and that requires close cooperation and teamwork, which sometimes is easy to do, sometimes is a bit more challenging. I think the other point that is very important is the cultural aspect. Whereas we might see that to be less of an issue with continental Europe, when you are an inbound tax director, particularly of an Asian inbound, some of the cultural aspects of how the group tax and how senior management and how society in the headquarter company looks at the tax function can have dramatically different impacts on how the U.S. will conduct its function. Will it be a very proactive tax function, or will it be more of a reactive one that is really more following the direction that is set by the global headquarter?
One of the things both you and I hear repeatedly from our inbound clients is the complexity of the U.S. tax environment creates enormous challenges to both entry and doing business. We're going to see over time what efforts can be made to reduce that complexity or make it a more business-friendly environment from a tax perspective. But in the meantime, are you seeing inbound investment growing? Do you see it as an enhanced opportunity despite that complexity, or where do you see this going over time?
No, that's a great question. I think when you look at the U.S. market for any global multinational continues to be a main or one of the primary markets for them to enter. Clearly, within the next couple of decades, we will see a very significant shift towards the east. But in the meantime, I continue to see great opportunities for non-U.S. multinationals to make U.S. investments. We continue to see increased M&A activity where you have companies, whether they're located in Asia, South America, or Europe, looking at opportunities because the U.S. continues to be not only a great country of innovation, but also an enormously large market of consumers with a lot of disposable income to spend on things that this company may manufacture or services they may provide. So notwithstanding the complexity, the U.S. continues to be an enormously important market for any global multinational. So Joel, you rejoined us at PwC about 2 years ago after holding several senior positions with some of the largest multinationals. You having spent 2 years with us now, how would you look at how PwC interacts with clients, and how do you feel we differentiate ourselves in that respect?
I think that's a really important question, and I guess having spent many years in senior executive roles, running tax functions in large inbound companies with investments in the U.S., I do have a bit of a different perspective on some of that perhaps than others do in the industry. And I guess when I stand back and I think about what we're trying to achieve at PwC, there's a number of pieces to it, but probably the two that I would really highlight as the most important is, one, having a very client-centric approach, really understanding that inbound companies, while they can come in many different shapes and sizes and different types of businesses, have unique challenges and opportunities, and really thinking about how do we help those clients take advantage of those opportunities and deal with those challenges in an environment that's quite different from other types of businesses. The second thing I think is really critical in what we're doing at PwC is creating a community of professionals who work in this space, who on a day-to-day basis engage with inbounds, use that understanding of the inbound community, the challenges and the opportunities to really bring value and help solve the difficult problems that investment into the United States creates, and helping them be successful in the U.S. And that community and very focused client-centric approach, I think, really sets us apart and really is being helpful in helping our clients achieve their success as well as our own.
Yeah, and I've actually seen that community really build, beautifully in several of the markets that you and I have visited over the past couple of years, where you can really see that there is almost a need for the tax directors and tax managers to have a forum where they can talk and share ideas and share experiences, because some of these issues are so unique. And clearly a lot of them involve the fact that they now have a foreign master, if you will, at the other end, that puts maybe demands on them that they might find unique and challenging. But having that network of colleagues to really bounce off ideas and share experiences, I think has really been an incredible experience to watch that develop.